Aren't you always looking for a new book to read, a new series to read, a new author to read? Aren't you always looking? Well, how about looking in Flashback Monday, Romantic Time Book Review? I still do actually. I used to spend hours upon hours going to this magazine. And I still spend hours upon hours going to this magazine. I love it so much. Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina KRSTINA. This is where we read books, we talk about books, no special effects, no fancy theme music, none of that fancy smancy stuff going on here. I'm just reading books and talking about books. Oh, my hair is awful today. So, and I have no fancy thumbs. I can't think of fancy titles. If I'm talking about a book in a video, that's the title of my video, the name of the book. I'm not going to be like, do I like this book? I'm just not that person. I'm just not that person. I have over 1,000 videos out there. I'm just not that person. The title of the video is the title of the book. I try to experiment a little bit on, I just did Kathleen Coulter, and I said, because one of the characters was looking for treasure in Winkle's cave. It's like, are we finding treasure in, what was it? Point Blank? I forget. It's like, that was the best I could do. I do the name of the book. So, anyways, if you could please tell people I exist, I would so appreciative. So, I think we're going to go a little overboard today. And I have complained about this in the past, but my enthusiasm for these videos gets a little carried away. And then the video itself, because my upload speed is a 3, and I've tried to upgrade, and they say I've upgraded, but they're lying through their teeth. This video will take 20 hours to upload. So I got up extra early today. See if I could get this done sooner, because I will get carried away because of my enthusiasm for this magazine is just too much. I could sit here and read this forever. Hey, you wanted to know what was under those hoops, right? I should say that this is February 2013, and there are 282 reviews in here. We will probably cover 60 or 70. And we start with Regency and the importance of being wicked. My gal, Victoria Alexandra. Order 4.5 stars. Warm, witty, and wise is how best to describe Alexandra's delightful, fast-paced Millworth Manor novel. Alexandra davels readers with her quick repartee, lovely backdrop, and sexual tension and pure romance. His house is in shambles after a devastating fire. Winfield Elliott, Viscount Stillwell, needs someone to rebuild it. Lady Miranda Garrett is a partner in a firm dedicated to redesigning and building homes. She is well aware of Wynn's reputation. 3 broken engagements have him labeled a heartbreaker. She should stay away, but she finds him far too charming and too tempting for her own good. Wynn is challenged by the talented, outspoken designer, and he decides a little wickedness is in order, a game of seduction, an improper proposal, and unexpected passion. Hello, Missy. Hello. Yeah, that's a good idea. Um, so where was I? Celeste Bradley. Let's see what the other one looks like. That one's a little bigger. When she said I do. And there's the one there. Better. 4.5 stars. Bradley puts her unique touch on Beauty and the Beast when a devil's bargain flings an innocent into demon's den. Brimming with her signature depth of emotion, delightful characters, and perfect pacing, this sexy love story tugs at the heartstrings. Aww. Miss Calliope Worthington takes shelter in an abandoned mansion, only to find herself facing the devil. When reclusive Wren Porter spies a young woman pilfering a strand of pearls, he's determined to punish the thief. She will repay him becoming his bride and giving him one act of passion in exchange for each pearl. Callie is both afraid and tempted by the bargain. She finds her captor's demands titillating and surrendering to him a secret delay. When her family arrives and a killer stalks the shadows, Callie knows she'll risk everything for her beast. Put that in the Beauty and the Beast column. And Duran, that scandalous summer. See if we can. Oh. There's no a sophisticated, witty Marvel novel that, like a Mary Bailo Raymond's, compels the reader to look deeper into the story and uncover depth as well as grand passion. When Lord Michael D. Gray's grief-stricken brother demands Michael a doctor marry before he funds his hospital, Michael leaves for the country where he meets a widowed Elizabeth Chatterley. Elizabeth seems the merry widow. In truth, her funds are dwindling. She realizes that for the sake of all those who depend on her, she must marry a wealthy man. Matching wits and wiles with Michael is exhilarating, and the sexual tension between them is palpable. But he is a poor doctor, and she is an unsuitable lord's bride. Okay? See what happens there. Lady Eve's indiscretion. 4.5 stars. Naked guy on the cover. Burroughs' seventh book in the Wyndham family series is an incredible read. This deeply moving story, unique characters, complete with their emotional demons, combined with fast-paced and highly intriguing plotline, make for a page-turner. Due to a fall from a horse, Eve Wyndham was left a virtual invalid 7 years. Now recovered and ready to face society, Eve is sought after by many men. Yet she fears that a wedding will reveal the teenage indiscretion that led to an accident. Lucas Denning, the new Marquis of Dean, is almost like a brother to Eve and has his own reasons for remaining unwed. They strike a deal, agreeing to be each other's decoy. Unfortunately, they are caught in an extremely compromising position, and what follows is marriage. Oh, this book would qualify for two of my so Hot and Marriage Convenience. That'll qualify for two of my February. I love this magazine. I just do. I just do. Um, Teresa I can never say her name right. Medeiros. Teresa Medeiros. If I could read this. Medea's is magic. Her stories are highly romantic and sensual, yet tinged with enough humor to make readers laugh and poignancy to bring a tear. After his bride runs off with his scapegoat brother, reserve Max Burke decides being a rogue is better than being the nice guy. A duel gets him into trouble he's been looking for and sends him fleeing London for Cornwall estate. Anne Spencer has been able to care for her makeshift family as keeper of the Codwick Manor, because few people who come to live at the manor quickly leave. Suddenly the Earl arrives and throws her plans into disarray. Max finds the prim housekeeper enchanting, and she's pulled toward the sadness and passion she senses in him. As Max becomes determined to solve the mystery of the manor's ghost, Anne sees her shame turn to dust. One good Earl deserves a lover. See if we can see it here. Sarah McLean, 4.5 stars. McLean seamlessly moves from the first novels in her Rules of Scoundrel series to the second. The same great chemistry, intelligent, and sparkling humor shine, and the added sexual tension provided by Lessons in Temptation provides readers with a delectable read. Right before brilliant bespectacled Pippa Marbury settles into marriage with staid Lord Castleton, she realizes she has only days to experience life. Pragmatic Pippa approaches this as a scientist. She asks gambling den owner Cross to research, associate, and uncover the nuances of the marriage bed. Cross is reluctant, but he discovers teaching Pippa about temptation is tempting in itself. As a brilliant mathematician, he appreciates Pippa's curiosity. He has finally met a woman who is his intellectual match. Now, if he can make her his intellectual marriage in the bedroom. See what happens there. Let's see. Did that, did that, did that, did that, did that. Karen Rainey, The Last War Black. Miss Rainey usually is our plaid peoples. She does a lot of Scotland stuff. Um, Naked guy on the cover. Almost a naked girl on the cover too. Equal opportunity. I always expect her books to be Scotlandish. 4.5 stars. Rainey spins threads of Beauty and the Beast into a wondrous story that is just not romantic. Movie. Did we do this one? We didn't do this one. We have two Beauty and the Beast in here? No, yeah, we have two Beauty and the Beast. Well, look at that. I'll have to put this one down too. The other beauty was Celeste Bradley. So we have two beauties. So this is Katrina Cameron was a great beauty who planned on snaring a duke for her husband, but a shooting and carriage accident changed her life. She hides her scarred face behind a veil. Her distraught aunt calls on Dr. Mark Thorne to try and heal Katrina. Mark can spare a little time for the self-pitying woman, but when he allows Katrina to believe he is a footman, he realizes she is a lost soul. Like those he cares for in the slums of Edinburgh, Katrina awakens something in Mark as he urges her to live and love with passion. Do this better. I was going nuts there. I thought I did it already. I didn't do it already. Um, Seduction of a Highland person. Oh, Seduction of a Highland warrior. Uh, Oh, naked guy on the cover in plaid. Four and a half stars. Sue Ellen, well-founded. This well-founder at her finest. The well-paced, intricate plot brings life to a highly sensual and emotional romance populated by unforgettable characters. The romance is steeped in rich lore and legend, adding a fairy tale dimension that will have readers sighing with happiness. Lord Alistair MacDonald vowed to preserve the peace in the glen of many legends. Honor demands he place his clan before himself and his personal desires. Thus he believes he must wed a daughter of a clan leader and form an alliance. Lady Marjorie McIntosh desperately wants to unite the warring clans. She has secretly loved Alistair for years. If she can seduce him and convince him to marry her, their clans will no longer be enemies. See if she can do it. A duke never yields. Ah, they always yield. Oh, lady on the cover. Juliana Gray. If there's one thing readers will note about Gray, it's that she has a variety of talents. Her debut series that demonstrates a knack for writing a sexy story, a battle of wits romance, and a funny tale tinged with paranormal elements. Three ladies and three gentlemen have rented the same Tuscan villa and launched both rivalry and romance. Watching her sister and friend find love with two of the men, Abigail Harwood, wondering if it's time for her to take a lover. The most likely candidate is Duke of Wallingford. After a row with his father, Wallingford has sworn off all women. As the alluring Abigail pursues him, Wallingford rethinks his vow of chastity. What guy wouldn't? What guy wouldn't? If there's a sexy chick after him, he's gonna concede. They always do. Especially in a romance novel, especially in a Regency romance novel. And then there's got to be that final twisty turny at the end. There's got to be that twisty turny. Let's see. Beverly Jenkins, Destiny's Embrace. Naked guy on the cover. Material in the genre of African American historical romance is not plentiful, but Jenkins is the preeminent voice. She delivers another gem with this first in her new Destiny series. Mariah is a force to be reckoned with, and the interplay between her and Logan is a joy to read. One minor distraction is the speed with which the two meet, fall in love, and marry. It may be a product of the times, but it is the only distracting element to the whole story because it is repeatedly referenced. Mariah Cooper is a strong woman who takes her identity into her own hands by moving from the unhappy home she shares with her mother in Philadelphia to the unknown Wild West. Accepting a position as housekeeper to Logan Yates is not what either of them imagined it would be. Butting heads from day one, the two find themselves drawn to each other. Aww. I just don't think a Western is a Regency. It might take place during that time period, but to me, a Western, not a Western, to me, a Regency is in England, regardless of who our stars of the books are. Um, Marie Clairmont, Dark Lady. I think of Cher's song, don't you? Uh, Marie Clairmont, 4.5 stars. Clairmont debuts with an intensely emotionally powerful novel that explores the darkest corners of Victorian society. With the first in the Mad Passions trilogy, Clairmont establishes herself as a force in the genre. Lord Ian Blake returns from India haunted by what he has seen and done. Prepared to tell his childhood friend Eva Karn that her husband is dead, he's stunned to learn that Eva has been committed to an asylum. Mad since her young son's death, Eva has found it easier to live in an opium stupor than to face his loss. She never expects to be rescued by her one-time friend, the boy she once loved. Ian fights to free Eva, making a powerful and ruthless enemy. They must run for their lives, pursued by evil. While Ian tries to release Eva from the law of opium, no longer sure of who she is, Eva places her trust in Ian. See what happens there. Uh, Travis. I don't see it. Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. Georgina Gentry, Travis, Texas guy, naked guy on the cover. Georgina captures the spirit of Western Americana in this installment of her Texan series, and she's smart enough to let adorable children and a dog steal the show. Add this to our uh, Texas series. Um, what was I? With the orphan train, a land rush, a wounded ranger, and a saloon girl in disguise, along with gentle touches, a tender love, and family bonds, Gentry's story will please her fans. Wounded in a shootout, Ranger Travis Prescott is on his way back to Texas and a new life. When saloon girl Violet LaForge finds 4 orphans in need of a home, she's determined to give them a family. She knows just the man to help. Masquerading as a 14-year-old, she cons Travis into finding a way to keep the family together, getting a job and locating a house. Once honorable, Travis promises to care for the children. He won't back down. More than anything, he wants to protect Violet. The more she is with Travis, the more she falls in love. Aww. So there's also an identity. When she was wicked, Ann Barton. Lady in Red. Four stars. Delightfully smart, fun, fast-paced, and just different enough for readers to take note of Barton's charming voice. London dressmaker Annabelle Honeycoat is desperate for money to pay her mother's medical bills. Since she's privy to gossip, Annabelle decides to use her knowledge to blackmail those who can't afford to hush up a scandal. But Owen Sherburne, Duke of Huntford, decides to shut her plans down for extortion, bringing her to live in his home and design his sister's wardrobe. Living in a mansion, becoming friends with her clients, and falling in love with her employer breaks all of Annabelle's rules. And our last Regency, How to Entice an Earl. Yep. Naked guy on the cover. 4 stars. The last of the wallflowers move into the spotlight as Colin spices up a charming love story with a liberal dose of suspense. She may be the last of the ducklings, but Lady Madeline Essex is perfectly happy to achieve success as a novelist. Thus, she convinces her brother to take her to a gaming hall for research. Maddie never expects to hold a dying man in her arms or be rescued by her friend Christian Monteith, Earl of Gresham. Following Maddie's brother is part of his mission to uncover a potential threat. Christian realizes that he cannot keep Maddie in the dark. The only way to keep her safe is to marry her. We'll see what happens there. All right, on to mainstream fiction. Let's see. Um, The Secret of Nightingale Place. Zach's latest is so beautiful in every aspect that readers will have difficulty pinpointing the best parts. Rich in San Francisco history with brilliant characters you'll warm up to. The two different storylines will enrapture you as well. Both women romances will have readers blushing and rooting for love to prosper. Anna Rosenthal has lost her husband to cancer a few years ago, but is having difficulty moving on. Then her 85-year-old estranged grandmother Goldie convinces Anna to drive across the country with her to San Francisco to return a piece of priceless Japanese art to its original owner. Intrigued and eager to find a way out of her current rut, Anna accepts the offer, not realizing that the trip will shed new light on her grandmother's past and pave the way for Anna's future. See what happens there. A lady that has been around for a very, very long time. And her books always sell quite well. Jackie Collins. 4.5 stars. Nobody does celebrity drama like Collins. She gives readers an inside view of lives of the rich and famous with the flair only she can bring. She reveals and lies among her cast of characters. Russian billionaire Alexander Kasinko has plans to make his girlfriend Bianca's 30th yacht set birthday party one she'll never forget. The guests include U.S. Senator, an A-list Hollywood actor, a UK footballer, a Latin singing sensation, and a journalist. Unbeknownst to the partygoers, Alexander's enemy, Russian mobster Sergei Zarkov, is out for revenge, hiring a band of pirates to take the ship and its passengers hostage. Sergei believes he will have the last laugh. The guests' secrets and lies are revealed, but their main concern is making it off the ship alive. What? Come here. Come here. Come here. H. Samantha Wild. Hmm. Oh. If you haven't seen Harry Met Sally, I'll take what she has. Wilde's latest novel touches on women friendships and the wishes women have for themselves. With her easy, amusing narrative style, Wilde speaks the language of women and communicates what lies in their hearts. Dowdy English teacher Nora Galish and her husband want a baby badly, but despite their efforts, it's not happening. Her best friend Annie, mother of two, has the life she wants. So does Cynthia Cypress, the stylish beauty new history teacher now is pregnant. When Cynthia befriends Nora, Nora is surprised and Annie is suspicious. Being around Cynthia causes Nora to discover new things about herself and her life. Let's see what happens there. The Good Daughter. Jane Porter. Lady in Pink. Yes, ma'am. Oh, come on. Come sit. Uh, 4 stars. The second book of the Brennan Sisters trilogy offers a strong story, a compelling punch that surpasses the first. The dialogue is filled with tension and compassion. Porter pulls the readers into the very heart of this close-knit family, examining intense feelings and life-altering decisions without backing away. Kip Brennan's decision to follow her heart. Come here. Come here. Um, Kip Brennan's decision to follow her to apparent bad boy Jude Knight is a huge change for her. After 10 years in a dead-end relationship, the Catholic schoolteacher and her daughter, who always makes the safe choices, shocks her family by becoming involved with a motorcycle rebel. Kit quickly discovers there's a whole lot more to Jude than she first assumed. The perfect marriage. Uh, One of these days, I will learn to put these in order. Kimberly Lawson. Ruby's books are usually more colorful, however, this seemingly plain cover sets the tone for the masterpiece contained instead. Looking at other people, specifically parents, Derek and Denise should be looking in a mirror that speaks the truth. There are cracks in their lives, even the six-figure incomes can't buy these drug addicts a perfect marriage. Counselors could provide this novella to clients who need to remove the veil from their eyes so they can truly see the consequences of their choices. Derek was reared by his grandparents because of his parents' addiction. Denise's parents' facade of a perfect marriage cloaked in secrets which tumble out just as Derek and Denise are forced to admit they are addicts. Drained bank accounts, jobs in jeopardy, and estranged friends are no matches for their just need one more fix. See what happens there. Um, the affair. See if I can do this. It's a little white on the cover, but 4 stars. Friedman's debut novel exposes the complexities and impact of an affair by reliving 1 week from the perspectives of each person involved: the wife, the husband, and the mistress. The confused inner thoughts of the characters and surprising plot twists make this novel exceptionally engaging. Looking up at address in her husband's phone book, Kelly Walker comes across a name she hoped she would never see again: Stephanie Burrows. 6 years ago, Kelly accused her husband Robert Walker of having an affair with Stephanie. So seeing that name again and the little red flag next to it rekindles all of Kathy's pain, doubt, and suspicion. See what happens. Great. Let's move on to teen. One of my authors. We know her well, Miss Almond Trout. Um, Opal. 4.5 stars. Almond keeps the momentum rolling with her third Lux entry. Readers will be enthralled from beginning to end. Katie and Demon's heat sparks as intrigue increases. Katie Swartz and Damon Black are again in the middle of standoff between the government and the alien community. With the return of his brother, Damon is doing everything he can to just hold the family together. But when an old foe returns to threaten him and Katie, he must work with the enemy to save them. See what happens there. Another lady who is on the shelves behind me. If you're a Vampire Diaries or Vampire Academy, you will also be Miss Mead's fan. The Indigo Spell. Mead's latest Bloodlines offering is entertaining, wonderful characters, and intriguing plot will keep readers absorbed. Alchemist Sydney Sage is just trying to do her job and not be absorbed by the magic that goes against everything she's trained for. But it draws her in. Now, with the help of Maury Vampire Adrian, she is hunting a witch who sucks the life and magic out of women, trying to help a group of alchemists gain information and, more importantly, protecting her charge. Sydney must use all of her considerable talents to make sure everything comes out right. Reminds me of Blood Diary, of Vampire Diaries, with the three peoples. And I don't think Oh, I did. I did. Etiquette and espionage. 4 stars. Carriage's bizarre blend of fantasy, steampunk, adventure, and mystery will keep you guessing. Seraphina's mother is fed up with her daughter's unlike antics and has sent her daughter to finishing school. What she doesn't know is that in addition to learning a curtsy, dance, and eating with the right fork, Seraphina will learn the arts of deception and espionage. When a mysterious object disappears and the school is attacked, Seraphina and classmate Demi decide to prove their developing skills by finding the missing object. See what happens there. All right. Now on to inspirational. Oh, look, there's a whole thing on questions with the author. 3 months, Parasol Protectorate author Gail Carringer enters the young adult market with etiquette and espionage. Why did you decide to write a young adult series in the same world as your Parasol Protectorate? It's one of my favorite genres to read, and I've always hoped to return to writing it. I decided to keep this new series in the same world because I felt this was more to the world than just Alexia's story. I wanted to explore my Victorians accepted or reveled the supernatural creatures and their steampunk technology. Okay. Let's change this. 37. Oh, I got itch. All right. Floors with Kathleen Yarborough. 4.5 stars. Yarborough writes complete worlds in her books. Readers gladly visit places and people, witnesses characters' predicaments, and never want to leave. Flora Brim has high hopes when she arrives in Eureka Springs to meet her fiancé, railroad man William Tucker. Finally, she will be married and perhaps produce an heir and thus hold on to the family estate. Flora has a bad track record with fiancés. 4 of them died before the wedding took place, earning her the name Fatal Flora. She's accompanied by her grandmother, but Flora's high-spirited ways get in trouble. Pinkerton detective Lucas McMinn suspects that Flora is in cahoots with William Tucker, the man he's hunting down for breaking his sister's heart. See what happens there. Don't tell a soul. Tiffany L. Warren. Warren masterfully crafts dynamic characters who gel together so well while remaining unique that her stories are like an umbilical cord that provides literary nourishment to each reader until the end. 8 years have passed since What the Friends' first appearance in What a Sister Should Do. Yvonne is the do-gooder whose ex-husband nearly beat ability to love out of her. Kingston, the ability choir director, is determined to show her a woman's worth. Pam's husband is so obsessed with managing a female singer's career that he undervalues his wife's book deal and underestimates her suspicions. Taylor has her own husband now. Yvonne forgives her for having a son with hers. Past always seems to find a way into the present. See what happens. Rebecca. Rebecca. Looks like Deanna Troy. It's not. It's Jill Eileen Smith. In the Second Wives of Patriarchs book, Smith makes biblical fiction unforgettable and worthy of our attention. This incredible author's ability to recreate biblical settings and transform dialogue delivers a God-given message that is just as relevant today as it was 1,000 years ago. The love story of Rebecca and Isaac and how God sent messengers to bring them together sends us a clear message of God's plans for those he loves. Relationships throughout the story have intertwined and encouraged us to make references about God's care. The great prayers of forefathers and foremothers have such power to move as action. Will the sons of Abraham fulfill their individual destinies? How do the challenges they face bring forth compassion? See what happens there. All right, I did that one. Um, I thought I did that one. I guess not. Picture Perfect, Janice Thompson. Four stars. Fans of romantic comedies are in for a treat just in time for Valentine's Day. Book one in the Weddings by Design series does not disappoint. Every time Hannah McDermott wants something, she never gets it because either someone or something holds her back. She's determined to be the wedding photographer at the wedding of the year, and her hunky, handsome competition, Drew Kincaid, isn't going to stop her. Historically, the McDermott clan and the Kincaid clan are always at war, but the McDermotts always seem to come out on top. So Hannah doesn't plan on losing out to Drew despite his constant tugging on her heartstrings. Oh, where the heart heals, and Shuri. Four stars. This wonderful second book in the Sisters at Heart series features romance, laughter, and a little mystery. The characters are written so well that they become like real friends that will stay with you long after the end of the book. Rosemary Saxon is proud to have been a nurse during the Civil War, but some people believe she is a witch. With her healing herbs, she has convinced Dr. Elijah Stewart she would be a benefit to his practice. Elijah has heard rumors about Rosemary and her use of herbs, but he hires her on the condition that she does not offer her home remedies to her patients. They are attracted to each other and Rosemary is happy, but when Elijah's fiancé arrives, Rosemary decides to leave Noble Springs and try to heal. See what happens. Beyond the Valley. Rita Gerlich. Creating characters with intense realism and compassion is one of Gerlach's gifts. Her books typically involve dramatic situations, giving her characters a chance to rise above their adversity. Beyond the Valley, a shining example of that, reminding us that we are never forsaken. This is the third in the Daughters of the Potomac series. Sarah's character was introduced in the first novel, Before the Scarlet Dawn, and now she has her own heart-wrenching story that takes us from England to Virginia and Maryland. Pregnant and recently widowed, Sarah Carr's young life is devastated in a way no one could have predicted. Looking to her husband's family for help, instead they plan her kidnapping and have her sold into slavery in faraway colonies. Sarah's life becomes one of survival as she faces the degradation of being an indentured slave. Oops. Poison. A little dark on the cover there. 4 stars. Jordan Redwood. Redwood's Bloodline trilogy continues with this latest thriller, well plotted and filled with action and medical drama. 5 years ago, Keelan's stepfather killed her mother and most of her siblings. Keelan and his sister Raven lived, but Keely's life was tumultuous and she couldn't care for Raven. When a man named Lucen approaches Keelan in a restaurant, she is stunned. According to her mentally ill stepfather, that is the name of the man who forced her to commit the heinous act. A man no one believed was real. Oops. I don't think so. Let's move on to sci-fi. Um, White on the cover here. The best of all possible worlds. Karen Lord, a vivid, detailed science fiction story with all the trappings of quality romance. Lord Softma's novel is not to be missed. The romance is slow budding, and the personal. I don't know what I said, but she started playing music and would not turn off. What did I say? The romance is slow building, and the personal growth Delora experiences throughout this novel in order to achieve her happily ever after makes her one of my favorite heroines of 2013. When an attack on the planet Cedra kills many of the race's females, Cedri represents head to the planet Cygnus Beta, made up of a hodgepodge of various humanoid species, in search of potential new mates to help regenerate their population. Government employee Grace DeLuca is assigned to accompany Sadri, Counselor Delcos, and his crew on their expedition to various colonies to survey different races, learning more about the Cedric culture and their traditions. Although Cedric rarely shows their emotions, Sedeka takes a liking to Grace, who comes to terms with a past relationship and her newly discovered psi abilities. I don't know. I think it should have more color, but that's just me. Um, The Natural History of Dragons. Another one with the white cover. 4.5 stars. Set in a neo-Victorian world, Brennan's latest is the fictional memoir of Isabella Lady Trent, a woman known for bringing the spectacular myth of dragons into the realm of modern science. If you've ever secretly wished dragons were real, this is a story for you. Beginning with a curious youth, Isabella tells the fascinating story of how she goes from a lady trapped in strict societal pressures of her time to meeting the love of her life, fellow dragon enthusiast Jacob, and embarking on a dangerous journey that results in Isabella becoming one of the most foremost experts on dragon anthropology. See. Evie Mariri. I can't say it right. Maneri's Blood Pride, the first book in the new Shadow Kingdom series, is the perfect mix of romance, family ties, betrayals, and agonizing dilemmas. From the beginning of the book, characters are forced to make decisions that will doubt, surprise the reader. Relationships with cross a number of different family lines will hook the readers almost instantly. Years after the Asha leaders of the Shandari people allow their people to be enslaved by the Norland people, a small group of dissidents have decided to rebel against Freya, the administrator of the colony. Even Freya's siblings, Izra and Ephra, have tired of her tyrannical, heartless ways and decide to side with the Shandari in the revolution. So there's a revolution coming. Uh, let's go on. Oops, I gotta tape that. That's a page loose. Suspense. I don't think. Did you miss me? The Karen Rose. When it comes to delivering suspenseful plots that are layered with enough surprises and complexities to blow your mind, Rose rises to the top of the list. The third outing in her outstanding Baltimore series brings back familiar faces from the previous books and confronts them with kidnapping of the child of one of their own. Assistant State Attorney Daphne Montgomery is awaiting the jury verdict on an important case when her 20-year-old son Ford is kidnapped. Horrifying, Ford's bodyguard is found dead at the scene. At first, FBI agent Joseph Carter suspects the kidnapping is related to the Millhouse case, especially when after the guilty verdict the family goes postal and opens fire. However, as Joseph, Daphne, and others attempt to put the evidence together, they realize there is more going on. Check that out. We shall see. Um, Ellie Kennedy, Midnight Alias, on my loose page here. Naked guy on the cover. Foreign stores. The team of mercenaries first introduced in the outstanding Midnight Rescue is back. Kennedy's newest heroine is deep in Manhattan's underbelly where her options are rapidly running out. Luke Du Bois and team from Jim Morgan's mercenaries are surveilling a strip club owned by Vince Angelo in hopes of locating a missing undercover DEA agent. Luke thinks he may have a way to get more info, so he decides to pursue Olivia Challow, one of the dancers and Vince's girlfriends. Olivia's life has become terrifying complicated. Forced to work at the club to pay for her mother's cancer drugs, she's now at mercy of Vince, who claims to love her. This book didn't show up, so I have to do it this way. It hasn't shown up yet. Shiloh Walker, The Reunited. Walker's return to FBI Psychic Unit is a great read, with minor parts played by some old friends. The storyline is compelling. The psychic art part does not strain credibility. The characters are terrific, and it even looks like there are more stories to come. FBI agent Josh Crawford is a psychic mirror. He can link to other talent and borrow their gifts. This makes him the perfect agent to insert in a dangerous undercover mission, despite the fact that the borrowing process is horribly painful. This time he is synced with a super talent who is an only child. Just as he's trying to control the talent lurching and forming through his brain, he senses the woman he has been looking for and dreaming about his entire life, enmeshed in this evil underslave ring. And not as a slave. Drusilla has been undercover for 2 years trying to bring the slave ring down. Just when she thinks she can't go on, especially since she can't access only memories by touching the person she's trying to reach, she is reminded of the screaming victim she needed to rescue. See what happens there. And Miss Daniels, DJ Daniels. Ah, 4.5 stars. Daniels has produced an engrossing mystery with suspense and wonderfully intriguing characters. After spending 2 years in prison where he is framed for cattle rustling, Jack French is back home in Beartooth, Montana. He soon becomes interested in the new owner of the Branding Iron Cafe, Kate LaFord. Kate is an enigma, a woman with secrets. Sheriff Frank Curry has been urged by the general store owner Nettie to discover Nettie has another person she wants to know about, her new tenant, Tiffany Hayes, and everyone becomes interested in the identity of a man found murdered, especially since he could have been connected to a tragedy that happened 30 years ago. See what happens. Mary Barton's seventh victim. Barton's latest novel has a calculating villain at its center, plus a strong yet vulnerable heroine and a tough Texas Ranger who is determined to protect her and root out the killer. Barely back on the job, Texas Ranger James Beck thinks his latest murder case is tied to the Seattle Strangler, a serial killer who murdered 6 women 7 years ago. Photographer Lara Church, the Strangler's 7th victim, survived her attack, and Beck pays her a visit to let her know about the possible resurgence of this killer. Lara doesn't want to revisit the horrible time, and yet Beck needs her to have a chance at catching the killer. And I think that's it with romantic suspense. Oh no, one more. Ah, Wait Until Dark. Sexy guy on the cover, naked guy on the cover. Buckman's third installment of the Night Stalker series is a high-energy military suspense at best. Sparks fly from the get-go thanks to a passionate pairing of hot mechanic and determined flight engineer. Staff Sergeant John Wallace is a chief mechanic and gunner for U.S. Special Forces, who finds himself working temporarily with Sergeant Connie Davis, a mechanical with photographic memory. While waiting at their next assignment, the team gets some much-needed downtime. Because Connie has no family, John takes her home with him. A few days at his place ignites a spark. See what happens there. Oh, shoot. On to mystery. Speaking from among the bones, Bradley Allen, 4.5 stars. This exquisitely written, laugh-out-loud story featuring amateur detective and chemist Flava D. Luce, 12-year-old living in 1950 Britain, but it isn't a young adult. It's for any reader who enjoys language, appreciative of the nuance of sensitive girl's life, and enjoys an intriguing mystery. The tomb of Saint Tancred is open to at the local church. Flavia is, of course, fascinated and brings a lot of scientific questions she wants answered. She fully expects to be there no matter what the adults think. She immediately finds a body, not of the saint, and series of mysteries she knows she can solve. What happened to the missing organist of St. Sacred Church? Who is the Adam Soby who's investigating the same mysteries and who wants to join Flava in her work? And perhaps most important to Flava, who can learn about her late mother from the man imprisoned in a great house outside her town? And Flava is the name of Davis, the Davis Roman series I did a while back. So see what happens there. Another lady likely to scare your pants off. Lisa Gardner, Touch and Go. Suspense Maven Gardner is known for her flawed but compelling and strong female characters. Here she brings back former cop Tessa Leone from Love You More and introduces near heroine Libby Denyu. The plot intricacies and layers of emotional devastation in this book, high stakes, are immensely riveting. Former cop Tessa Leone is now working as a PI for a contemporary that aids big drug companies when the entire family of the owner, Dendry Construction, is kidnapped. Tessa is called in to represent the corporate interests as the police and FBI begin the hunt. What was supposed to be an attempt to save their marriage ends in terror when Libby Denby, her husband Justin, and their 15-year-old daughter are abducted and taken to a currently unused prison that was ironically built by Justin's company. Oops. Now, if you watched my YouTube channel in the beginning, please, if you haven't seen these videos, please go check them out. I love me Eve Dallas, my JD Rob. She's a lieutenant in the New York Police and Security Department. I did all 60 videos. We're getting a new book in a couple weeks. I can't wait. She's a lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department. Her husband is Rourke. Peabody is her partner. McNabb is Peabody's partner in life, but he is also a detective in the EDD division. McNabb's boss is Feeney, who was Eve's original trainer. Whitney is her boss. Mira is the shrink. Mavis is her friend and rock star. Leonardo is Mavis's husband. Rourke is her husband. Somerset is the major domo. Galahad is the cat. Nadine is the reporter turned book writer turned TV show host. These are all her friends. We got Charles Monroe. We've got the whole gang. And here we go. Calculated in death. A mugging gone wrong or murder? That is the question facing Lieutenant Eve Dallas in the new chapter of this consistently outstanding series. Eve instincts are finally home, but in this story, Robs also showcases the developing skills of beloved secondary characters. Accountant Marla Dickinson's beloved wife and mother is killed in the aftermath of an apparent mugging, but once Eve and Peabody look at the scene, they know better. Marta was targeted, but why? Follow the money. becomes the refrain as Eve's team, including her business-savvy husband, Rourke, tried to find out what Marta learned that led to her murder. There are several high-profile people and powerful companies whose account books could also provide the answers. There is also a killer who seems to be acquiring a taste for death. I love me Eve Dallas. Please go watch all of those videos. They could use somebody watching them. Political Suicide, Michael Palmer, December's Thorn. Alright, I read that wrong. Political Suicide by Michael Palmer. Dr. Lou Welcome's returns in this medical political thriller. The military medical conspiracy is frightening, while Lou's interactions with his daughter and his blossoming romantic issues in A Tough Attorney provides some breaks for the merciless pace of the investigation. Suspend belief that an ER doctor can or should attempt some of these actions and enjoy the ride. At the Physician Wellness Center, Lou has supervising Dr. Hugh McGrary, who has a drinking problem. Senator Colston is found murdered after a visit from McHugh and becomes known as McHugh having an affair with Senator's wife. McHugh asks Lou to try to clear him. Lou agrees to help over the objection of McHugh's attorney, who distrusts the doctor. Lou finds some odds in Colston's office and begins to unravel clues about the secret military program. Interesting. Yep. Well, it's a little early for Easter, but we'll go for it. Leslie Muir, the Easter Bunny murder. Part-time researcher Lucy Stone has her hands full after witnessing a death at the town's Easter egg hunt. Part-time reporter Lucy Stone has her hands full after witnessing a death at the town's Easter egg hunt at a local estate. Lucy's tenuous manner makes her an effective sleuth as she pries information out of suspects. Great plotting and multiple motives drives the suspense to a nail-biting conclusion. Lucy Stone is excited to take her grandson to the annual Easter egg hunt hosted by the vastly wealthy Vivian Van Vost at the Pine Point Estate. When she arrives, the gates are closed and the event is canceled. Suddenly, a large Easter bunny appears and stumbles to the gate only to drop dead at the children's feet. The dead bunny turns out to be Vivian Van Vost's grandson. Lucy soon learns that the family members and a crooked attorney are mistreating Miss Van Vost and are liquidating her assets. Oops. They better fix that soon. They better fix it. Alright. A lady that writes great Regents. I'm a great fan of her Regency books. Oh, let me just write this down. Contemporary romance. Crystal Cove. 4.5 stars. If you've already visited Friday Harbor, Calippa's latest will feel like you never left as she seamlessly introduced readers to the characters who live on this magical island. Both heartbreaking and heartwarming, this story really does it all. Justin Hoffman is cursed. His mother cast a spell on her when she was born to protect her heart from being broken. The spell prevents her from falling in love in the first place, something she desperately wants more than anything. To her, one day wonderful is better than a lifetime of ordinary. When she meets a mysterious Jason Black, she's more inspired than ever to find a way to break the spell. See what happens there. The Night on Thistle Lane. Let's see. 4.5 stars. Nega's emotionally charged story is masterful, intense mystery, and complex romance all in one. Phoebe O'Dunn is satisfied with her life as a librarian in Knightsbridge, Massachusetts, until she stumbles into a secret attic room of vintage gowns that leads her to a masquerade and into the arms of a swashbuckler. Billionaire Noah Kendrick, not much for masquerades until he dances with a beautiful princess. Back in Knightsbridge, the masks are removed, and the magic Phoebe and Noah felt that night remains. Before they can examine their feelings, a new threat emerges. We'll see. Christy Ridgway. Beach House number 9. Let's see. 4 stars. Ridgway launches a new series with this solid, well written romance. Even if her reputation has some knocks from the previous client who doesn't. Oh, wait a minute. I skipped. Let me go back. Ridgway launches a new series with this solid and well written romance. The characters are fully realized and the plotlines are believable. The inability of so many of the people in this book to communicate or identify their feelings can be frustrating, but is also, alas, completely realistic. Jane Pearson is a book doctor and a good one, even if her reputation has taken some knocks from a previous client who doesn't seem to understand that he can't cheat on their personal relationship and still get a professional dedication at the same time. Griffin Lowell has made a name for himself and now supposed to write his memoir, but instead he's hiding out in a beach cottage and ignoring the outside world. See what happens. Brenda Novak. When the summer comes. If you can get past the implausible premise that a fatally ill woman would trustingly harbor a drifter with a litany of dark secrets, you'll find plenty to like about Novak's third Whiskey Creek novel. As always, Novak characters are beautifully drawn and their relationships deeply left, but this installment strains when its focus shifts from the protagonist and labors to keep the various friends and future main characters' plotline moving. Waiting for a liver transplant, Callie Vendette is spending the last weeks of her life alone on a tranquil farm when a gravely injured drifter bangs on her door in the middle of the night. Veteran Levi McLeod is taken to the road to numb the painful memories of murdered Afghanistan fiancé and her unborn child. With nothing to lose, Callie opens her home and heart to this wounded warrior. Will they find love? Ah, on to paranormal. Ah, Maggie Shane, Blood of the Sorceress, naked guy on the cover. 4.5 stars. Shane has ended her latest series with a turbulent ride that will have readers loving every moment. Magic and love are only part of the fabulous, strong story that teems with passion. The last of the 3 ancient witches, Lila has been reborn to fulfill the remaining part of her legacy to rescue her love, Demetrius. Demetrius is certainly attracted to Lila, but the passage of time and the influence of treacherous high priest has hardened him. He does not want the remaining piece of his soul, but Demetrius and Lila will need to work together to defeat the evil that has stalked them for both. Immortal Craving. Kendra Lee Castle. Naked guy on the cover. There's a pattern here. 4.5 stars. The fourth chapter in Castle's Dark Dynasty series takes us back to the beginning, this time focusing on Bay Harper, the human friend of Vampire Queen Lily. Castle outdoes herself with the newest tortured hero, Tessine. Being the vampire human best friend, a new vampire queen is challenging, but Bay and Lily's bond is unbreakable. But Bay's life takes on even a more dramatic turn after she meets the mysterious Tassim. After centuries of forced hibernation by Ptolemy, Tassim Singh awakes to find his last Rakshasa, otherwise known as Lion Shifter Vampire. He has also discovers that Ptolemy Vampire Queen Arsenal placed a demon within him, one which threatens to take over completely. Very multi-layered there. Very, very multi-layer. Tempting as hell. Okay. Yardley serves up a fascinating moving story with intriguing characters and some serious bad guys, but also enough humor to keep it from being too dark. Kate O'Hara only took the temp assignment at Fiendish Enterprises headquarters to pay the bills. It's corrugate, drudgery, and boring as all hell. She thinks of it as a job from hell. When Kate meets Fiendish owner Thomas Keschel, she discovers it's literally the job from hell. Kate has inadvertently signed over her cell and she's suddenly in deeper than she ever expected. Seeking revenge from the death of the woman he loved, Thomas needs to kill 12 evil men before he can get to the one he really wants dead. Okay. And let's move on. Let's see here. Yasmin Galnorn. I have several of her books too. Just not this one. Let's see if I can do this. In the newest Otherworld novel, it's zombies and ghosts, oh my. Up to the plate in Gallhorn's rotation of heroines is Camille, the powerful Moon Mother Witch. Camille has survived horrific events and grown demonstrably stronger. However, the forces allied against her are formidable indeed. Book after book, Galnorn uses her tremendous gifts to keep the myriad plots and complex characterizations moving. After Trace has deadly encounter with bone walkers, zombies, and ghosts in a cemetery, Camille and the crew race to the rescue, only to find they are dealing with much more than they had anticipated. Gulakah. The Lord of Ghosts is up to something. When Camille and her pals attempt to figure out, the trail leads to the infamous ALEKSAIS psychic network. As Camille continues to train, her powers evolve, and she knows she's being prepared for a powerful ritual. Okay. Another series that I know very well. House Rules, Chloe Neal, Corner Stars. Politics and murder comprise a two-pronged assault on the Cadogan House of Vampires and Nell's newest Chicago Vampires novel. Events from previous books have led to the upcoming historic break with the Greenwich Presidium of Vampires, promising a trip into dangerous and uncharted waters. Although the Cadogan vampires are thrilled with the resurrection of their master Ethan Sullivan, they now face formal separation from the European Vampire Authority. Then two young rogue vampires are found brutally murdered, and Merritt is asked to investigate. As Merritt begins tracking this clever killer, she uncovers secret alliances and deadly ventures quests that can threaten them all. Sometimes I don't agree with Merritt's choices, but she makes them. Alright. Another big lady in our Fae series. If you saw my videos on Fae, we talked about this lady. Moaning returns to the heady world of Fae series, and the results are addictive and consistently surprising. Some readers might be troubled by Dany's age and the power of dynamics of her relationships, but the best elements of Moaning's sensual epic shadowy epic are still here, from the sensual and enigmatic Fae to the super alpha heroes and the breathless pace of their escalating conflicts. It's 1 year after the collapse of the world, and Dublin is a world where the Fae roam free as chaos reigns. Every day is a war for the Sid Seers like 14-year-old Dany O'Malley, who lives on the run from both humans and Unseelie, who seek her death. To make matters worse, people and Fae alike are being frozen to death in terrifying tableaux that echo the power of the Dark Book. When Dublin's hottest club is covered in frost, Denny is forced to work with Raiden, an enigmatic and ruthlessly powerful owner, in a battle that brings new alliances, new enemies, and threatens everything that she holds dear. And I always talk about this. When a publisher puts the better paper, you know they like the author and they're going to assume that she's going to sell really well. When they give the thick lined edged paper, they always know she's going to do well if they do that. I always say that's the the notice of a good book. Oh, I forgot one. I forgot one. All right, I'm gonna let that go. All right, let's move on to Harley Quinn. Uh, ah, Seal Seduction. Naked guy on the cover. 4.5 stars. Connie Weber. While on 2 weeks of R&R, Navy SEAL Blake Landon meets sexy researcher Alexi Lane. After a steamy interlude on the beach, followed by 2 more days of heating up the streets, Alexi discovers that Blake is a Navy man under her Admiral father's command and is therefore off limits. But when she is kidnapped by a terrorist bent on using her research on subliminal manipulation, Blake is sent in to rescue her. Fiery, hot, sexy scenes and strong characters and exciting action make this one of the best stories in the uniformly hot. I don't know how we can follow that up. Read a heroine intrigue. Um, Brody Bloodworth has never stopped looking for a little brother who was snatched from his family nearly a decade ago. This got 4.5 stars. His grief and anger drove the woman he loved away, and he turned his attention toward running a troubled ranch for boys. Why Julie Whitebread blames herself for Brody's brother's disappearance has made her mission to find him. Now a special agent, Julie is back in Brody's life with evidence that shows that his brother may have been found robbing a bank. Heroine navigates the darkly twisted path of psychopath with deft steps, adding another textured tale to the Bucking Bronx Lodge series. This wicked magic, another nocturne. 4.5 stars. Michelle Huff, after coming back from Demona with several demons hitching a ride inside his body, which certainly Jones is desperate for help, and paranormal cleaner Vika St. Charles accidentally cleanses one of the demons from his body by sneezing a soul through him. He knows he has to track down the goth cleaner so she can get rid of the demons that plague him before they can take over his body permanently. Unfortunately, CJ's life is further complicated by an evil warlock who wants the demons that inhabit him for his own evil plans. Harley Quinn kiss. How to get over your ex? 4 stars. Humiliated but when her on-hair Valentine's Day proposal is rejected, Georgia Stone throws herself into work. Having been jilted at the altar himself, radio station manager Xander Rush can sympathize with Georgia's plight, but that doesn't stop him from insisting she fulfill a 1-year contract with his radio station. They agree to share Georgia's adventures as she explores everything from belly dancing to spy school, with only Xander accompanying her. Xander doesn't count on being beguiled Georgia being the one to balance his life. Beyond Valor. Harlequin Suspense, 4.5 stars. When combat medic May Trahan arrives at Marine Corps post in Afghanistan, fellow Navy medic Luke Kohler is captivated by her right away. Megan finds Luke's presence soothing, and there is something about him that touches her deeply. It doesn't take long for them to develop feelings for each other, yet they can't reveal them since the fraternization between military personnel is not allowed. By maintaining control is proving to be harder by the moment. McKenna steadily ratchets up the tension throughout the story as Luke and Megan live day to day in dangerous war-ravaged Afghanistan. Reservations for two. Jennifer Loham, 4.5 stars. After a restaurant reviewer pans her Polish restaurant and the reservations start to fall off, Chief Tilly Millick is worried that her lifelong dream won't last longer than 6 months. And when she learns that Dan Meir, the man Susan's been expressing serious interest in dating her, is none other than the critic, she determined never to speak to him again. But Dan is just as determined to fix his mistake once he realizes that Tilly is actually an excellent and she's being sabotaged by someone. Someone is sabotaging her food. Love inspired. Sweetheart Bride, Lenora Worth. Though nursing her own broken heart, Brenna Blanchford is attending her sister's wedding. There she meets Nicholas Santiago, who is in town to renovate Flora House for his client. Brenna has an eye for art, and Nicholas asks her for help. Brenna knows Nicholas has unresolved guilt over his sister's death, and she wants to know more, but he believes the truth will send Brenna running. See what happens. Detection Mission, Margaret Daly. Inspired Suspense. Detection Mission, 4.5 stars, Margaret Daly. Police officer Lee Calloway finds Heidi injured in the woods, but when she awakens from her coma, she has amnesia and can't remember why she's in town. Lee wonders if she was a witness to a crime or on the run, and when the dead bodies turn up, he wonders if Hallie is connected. After Lee and Heidi are attacked, it's a race against the clock as Heidi tries to piece together her memories in time to save them both. Don't have any of the other ones. So we are going to college a day. I love this magazine. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? We could do some of these. Let's see if these are in here. They gotta be in here. Let's just see if these. I didn't even check. They're always in here. The one. Yeah, there's Harlequins for race stars, Harlequins for Doc.